This program is paid for by Weeby Marketing.
Hey, so
Lawson sends it out to left center field. This ball is hit pretty well. It's traveling, and it's going to get out of here.
Swinging a fly ball, right field. Guess what? It is a grand salami.
And that is launched. And it's gone past the video board.
It's time for On Deck.
The Gators have their biggest inning in over a decade.
So here comes the payoff pitch from Barberi. And did he go? Yes, he did. Strikeout number 16 for the Gators. And Florida does, in fact, get the shutout.
On Deck is shining because of our title sponsor, International Diamond Center, the official jeweler of Florida Gators baseball.
Jocelyn Erickson, welcome to the 200 Club.
And brought to you in part by Titan MRI and Imaging, Meldon Law, Silverback Concrete, Campus USA Credit Union, B&D Electric, Quality Plumbing, Atlantic Roofing, Castaway Hot Sauce, Coke Zero, Holiday Inn University Center, International Gold and Watch Exchange, Miapa Latin Cafe, Ruse Ogra State Farm, and by Spurrier's Gridiron Grill.
Alongside Jeff Cardozo, here's Steve Russell.
Welcome to this week's edition of On Deck. Alongside Jeff Cardozo, zooming with us today. We broadcast from the International Diamond Center studios. International Diamond Center, the official jeweler of the Florida Gators. We will talk all things Gator baseball, softball, SEC, regionals, super regionals, College World Series. You get the idea. Our phone and text line questions brought to you by Titan MRI and Imaging, 3 locations to scan you better. If you have any Facebook Live questions, are brought to you by Meldon Law, the only official injury and accident law firm partner of the Florida Gators. And YouTube questions, courtesy of Silverback Concrete. You stand on it, we stand by it. Silverback Concrete. The phone line, of course, to talk to us here, 392-8255. That's the Titan MRI and Imaging phone and text line. And don't forget, at Titan MRI and Imaging, no insurance is no problem. Same-day scheduling available. Call them up. Start feeling better today. TitanMRI.com. Jeff, we are down to 1 game left, Oklahoma and Kansas, and then we'll know the College World Series field, but a lot of SEC teams are making the trip.
Yeah, probably should be 4. Hey, Steve. Hey, everybody. Yeah, I mean, obviously looking at the way the Super Regionals played out, I think you felt pretty confident if the Gators would have gotten past Troy, they'd be going to Omaha again. So it's a little bittersweet, I think, when it's all said and done. But again, you got to give credit to Troy. I mean, that environment there, and obviously the way they played in those 2 games, I wouldn't be shocked if they made an impact in Omaha too. If they were able to do it at Florida, you can certainly do it. I guess when you see the Georgias and the Texases of the world, it's kind of a shame that they have to play each other because one of those guys are going to kind of knock each other out of that side of the bracket. But I think those are probably the 2 best left. And then you've got what would have been the Gators side of the bracket kind of open for a lot of different people. And we'll see how it all plays out.
I kind of felt sorry for, Jeff, was Mississippi State because they're good. They're really a good team, but they just ran into Georgia, and when you're playing in that yard, they came close, but, Georgia ended up winning. But, I mean, Mississippi State is certainly a capable team. They could have gone to Omaha and done well, I think.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. They hit 6 homers in each of the games and lost them both.
Right.
I mean, it's nuts to think about what that Super Regional provided. I think there were 24 home runs total and only like 31 in all the other games. So, I mean, we know that ballpark. We know how Georgia's offense is, and certainly we saw it firsthand. But that's what you even think about what was incredible, the Gators going to Athens in the regular season, and Florida didn't allow a home run that entire weekend. And Georgia was the most powerful team in the country, and obviously it showed again. So it was just a really good weekend for Florida. You wish they could have pitched like that when it was all said and done, but I think that's what this team was. There was a lot of the ups and downs, and it just never all 3 facets of the game got going at the right time. For so long it was just the pitching, and defense was horrible and they couldn't hit to save their lives. And then when it was all said and done, the defense actually got okay, and the pitching was the one that gave them trouble when the offense was sitting there scoring runs. So, you got to have everything going for you at the right time. And unfortunately, it was a couple of days at home where Florida wasn't able to pull that off.
Email from Daryl. Wouldn't mind seeing Troy win it all. Ole Miss could make some noise. Seems like Will Furnace has been there 100 years. Anybody but Georgia.
Yeah, no, it is a cool story for Will Furnace. I saw them post something because he's the one that hit the homer that basically helped them beat Auburn. And, obviously his dad was Eddie Furnace. And, I mean, he's still one of the greatest hitters I've ever had to face. He was tremendous for LSU in those mid-'90s teams when they were winning a bunch of stuff. But Bianco, now the head coach at Ole Miss, was a assistant on those teams. So Mike Bianco is the first guy ever now to coach a father and a son in Omaha. So that's kind of a cool little story. We'll see how it all plays out. But yeah, I think even you got to be impressed. I think the two teams that I thought pitched the best against Florida this year were Ole Miss and Auburn, and of course they had to go at it in that super regional as well. And Ole Miss just pitched a little bit better, and they got just enough offense. And the Auburn stuff is weird now, Steve. I mean, you think about Auburn. They've been able to now be a top 4 national seed the last couple of years, and it's like 3 years in a row now, twice at home where they've lost in the super regionals, and they can't get over that hump. And I know he's gotten there a couple of times, but that environment and everything else that was going on there was pretty special for Auburn, and they still couldn't do it. So you wonder how that fan base is feeling today.
Email from Paul, Jeff. Were you guys surprised at Florida making a pitching coach change?
Well, I think a little bit, but, it goes back to the way fans are. And, and I'm not talking negatively about fans, but I think we've seen it over the years where there's a group of people that raise a lot of fuss and then they blame a certain individual. And I don't know if you can really blame David Kopp on this. I mean, think about where this pitching staff ended up. They were second in the SEC in earned run average, and they had the SEC pitcher of the year. So you're telling me that the pitching coach didn't have his hands in any of that? So just how obviously how the season ended and you give up 3 straight games of 10 runs. I mean, again, it's not his fault that he can't get inside Liam Peterson's mind and, tell him to be more aggressive and to pitch better. So I don't know. I think that was a little bit of a scapegoat, but sometimes you need to make a change. And, I know there was some development with some other guys that maybe people question, but I thought David Kopp was doing a pretty good job. And, when it's all said and done, at least to me, the numbers didn't indicate that this was the time to get rid of him.
Yeah, I was surprised, not shocked, surprised for some of the things you've mentioned, Jeff. I mean, the numbers certainly looked really good. Maybe some guys that they felt didn't develop that maybe the way they should have developed. I mean, maybe that, but that did happen.
Yeah, and Steve, if you just look at numbers alone, I don't have the numbers right in front of me being on the road, but the earned run average, I believe, in 24 was about a 6.5 for this pitching staff, and that was kind of the first year that Kopp took over as the main pitching guy. And then it dropped into the mid-5s last year, and then it was in the 4s this year. So you had a 2-year stint where the earned run average overall as a pitching staff was decreased by more than 2 runs a game. I mean, I think that's still doing pretty darn good.
I agree. Team of the Week brought to you by B&D Electric. With B&D Electric, your home's electrical system is always game day ready. From repairs and lighting to panel upgrades and troubleshooting, they deliver every time. Don't foul out. Schedule today at bndelectric.com.
I know Oklahoma hasn't finished it off yet, but I think they're well on their way to beating Kansas. So I think for me, it's them. I think maybe more of a surprise than anything else. I think Kansas was the one team you thought would be pretty good. And I think 1B would be West Virginia, with just how they played and, how they're tearing it up. A really cool story, just like Troy. Both teams are going to face each other in Omaha, and they're both going to the College World Series for the first time in school history. But, to me, I didn't think Oklahoma was very good when we saw them. And, obviously they came back and beat Florida in that first game, but the Gators bullpen kind of blew that one. And then the next 2 days, they just got pounded out of the ballpark by the Gator offense. So you give credit to that Oklahoma staff for kind of turning things around. They were going through a really rough stretch, and there was only a couple of weeks left in the regular season. So to figure it out, to do what they did to win their regional and now about to go to Omaha, I think you got to give Oklahoma a lot of credit.
Yeah, Troy would be the obvious choice for me, but Oklahoma's right there. For what you just said, Jeff, when we walked out of that press box in Norman, it was like, they're not very good. Their pitching's not very good. And, the crowds weren't great there. There wasn't a lot of electricity in the ballpark, but to get their act together like that and get where they are, they deserve a heck of a lot of credit. Coach of the Week brought to you by Campus USA Credit Union, putting some star power to work in your financial life for 90 years. Campus USA Credit Union, Coach of the Week.
Yeah, and then that'll be my Skylar Meade one. He just continues to be impressive. And, I think, now what ESPN does when you get to Omaha, they come up with storylines and do a lot of great things. And I think the rest of the country will now be able to see kind of the infectious nature that Skylar Meade has brought to that group and why they were able to win. And I thought it was really cool, even just the invite that he allowed for just former Troy players to come there to that super regional. I think there was a picture taken after the game, and there was probably 150 former Troy players that were a part of that and all came down on the field. And he's making it that family type of environment to go out. And, obviously the kids are playing really, really well for him right now. And he's done a tremendous job.
Yeah. That's the beauty of sport. You hate to see it at Florida's expense, but, who would have thought start of the year, Troy, would be in Omaha. It's a pretty good story. We'll take a break, come back, more on deck come. We can hear from you. Call us up and email us, whatever, and ask your questions here as the On Deck Show continues on WRUF.
Your home for the Tampa Bay Rays is WRUF.
The jewelry store with the most likes, the most positive reviews, the most raving fans is International Diamond Center.
IDC is definitely a place that I will come to as long as I live here. This will be my go-to place always.
Literally the best jewelry store in town. You'll make friends for life coming in here. I felt like family from the beginning. The value was extraordinary.
I've got a beautiful diamond on my finger, and I'm very proud of it.
International Diamond Center.
I'm very happy to show it off.
At Celebration Point and online at shopidc.com.
It's never fun being injured, and with summer on the way, the last thing you want is lingering pain holding you back. Good news, you don't have to deal with long waits or high costs at Titan MRI and Imaging. At Titan MRI and Imaging, you're not just another patient. You're treated with care in a comfortable, personal setting. With 2 locations in Gainesville and 1 in Lake City, being pain-free is a short drive away, and they accept insurance. So don't sit out this summer. Get the scan you need and get back to enjoying it. Visit TitanMRI.com to learn more.
Hi, I'm Kerry Meldon. At Meldon Law, we prepare every case as if it's going to trial. And part of that preparation involves real people from our community giving honest feedback. Join one of our jury research focus groups. You'll review real case scenarios, share your perspective, and enjoy dinner and dessert on us. We'll thank you and provide you $125 for your time. It's engaging, meaningful, and your voice truly matters. Visit meldonlaw.com to sign up today.
Concrete is tough, long-lasting, durable. And when it's done right, it's the foundation of everything that stands strong. At Silverback Concrete, we don't just pour concrete, we build trust one slab at a time. We're a family-led team of heavy concrete specialists who sweat every detail, from footers to elevated decks. We respect your budget, we build to last, and we care about the people on the job today and those who will walk these floors tomorrow. You stand on it, we stand by it. Silverback Concrete, we've got your back. Visit silverbackconcrete.co to get started.
It's game day. Lights on, fans ready, everything running like it should. Now imagine your home performing at that same level. No flickering lights, no tripping breakers, no last-minute surprises. With B&D Electric, your home's electrical system is always game day ready. From repairs and lighting to panel upgrades and troubleshooting, they deliver reliable service you can count on every time. Don't sit on the sidelines. Schedule your service today at www.bdelectric.com. That's bdelectric.com.
If there's anybody that knows what teamwork and great leadership is all about, it's the head ball coach himself, Steve Spurrier. Sure, it applies to football and the team at Campus USA Credit Union.
Yeah, I think we got excellent leadership with Jerry Benton and his staff there, and certainly I'm proud to team up with those guys as we go from year to year.
Campus USA Credit Union can help with all your financial decisions. Join the team. Learn more at campuscu.com. Member NCUA.
Every great team is built on a solid game plan, sharp execution, and total trust in the crew beside you. At Quality Plumbing, we bring that same championship mindset to every job we do. For over 40 years, we've been the starting lineup for homes and businesses across North Central Florida, delivering reliable service, expert craftsmanship, and big wins for our customers. Call us today or visit qualityplumbing.com. We're your first string team. License number CFC 043073.
Overheard at the Hard Rock Bet Party.
Wait, is that Ronaldinho? Ronaldinho, you think Brazil will win it all this summer?
Claro que sí. Can I just say, you're my favorite player ever. Soccer's biggest tournament and biggest stars are coming to Florida this summer. And the place to bet it all is on Hard Rock Bet. Download the Hard Rock Bet app and back your country. Roll with us. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about your gambling? Call or text 1-833-PLAY-WISE.
On Deck with Steve Russell and Jeff Cardozo continues right here on WRUF 98.1 FM, 850 AM, and 103.7 HD2.
International Diamond Center. Don't settle for a knockoff diamond. You can get the best diamonds at the best prices for quality, selection, and value. International Diamond Center, they are the official jeweler of the Florida Gators. Welcome back to the On Deck Show. Jeff Cardozo, Steve Russell with you here. Jeff, email from Dustin. Your thoughts on the new catcher we got in the portal. He had great hitting numbers, although smaller conference. Will we see how that translates? How about his defense? Does he have a strong arm, throw people out, etc.?
Yeah, stud, to be honest. I mean, just a guy that they'll insert in the middle of the order, really attacks the baseball from a hitting standpoint. And that was priority number one for this entire staff, was to go find somebody like that. And, the unique part about it is he's from Venice High School. That's where Mike Rivera went. So, you get that opportunity to now have Mikey coach him. And, there was a little bit of a relationship there. So that was kind of a no-brainer. Defensively, not as, probably good and solid as Bowen, but from a hitting standpoint, a lot better when you look at it. And, yeah, he's, I think when you look at probably all the guys that'll be in the portal and ended up signing, he'll be a top 10 signee in the country. In my mind, that's how good he is.
Yeah, I think he's really good too. Lewis, need to improve tremendously on the left side of the infield. Though Stripling did a nice job at first. Cyrilwick is better there if he returns. Terrible at third. I don't agree with that. Lawson either has to be a full-time DH or hide him in right field. I'll stop right there, Jeff, because I know you have a lot to say.
Yeah, I don't think you'll ever get to that point. And honestly, Steve, we saw it, and there was even conversations during the broadcast about how much better Lawson had gotten down the stretch, just the footwork and, ability to get to some balls that he wasn't getting to early on. So I just think even with another year, you can be more comfortable there. I think it's going to be fascinating because you don't know what the portal is going to bring. Now, and I think when it's all said and done, Stripling is, maybe the odd man out when it comes to that. But if there's a portal guy that ends up being a really good just first baseman only, and you go get him, then Cyrilwick stays at third because obviously you got to have his bat in the lineup, and then Lawson stays at short. Or the other option is you just go get a guy that's somewhat similar to Cyrilwick that's plays first and third, and then you figure out which one wins the job, who's going to be better defensively, and then you put the other one over there when it's all said and done. But I even think Cyrilwick got better. There was a couple of games there even in the postseason where just the routine plays he's not able to make. But I think, hopefully with another year under his belt and working and playing summer ball again will make him a little bit better defensively. But gosh, we don't even know if he's coming back. I mean, he's draft eligible, so he's got the ability to leave, and then you've got to find a whole bunch of different people. So it's going to be a weird offseason for these guys, what they do, how they attack the portal, what they try to get, knowing you still have the option of Cyrilwick coming back, and obviously Lawson will be there. But, yeah, I don't think terrible at all, but I would say average to sometimes below average, and you would think Florida's better than that when they can go out and get players. But if he had to play third next year and it came down to it, I don't think that would be just a ginormous loss or something bad for this team.
Yeah, he's not Brooks Robinson there. Let's face it. He's not. But I do agree. I think he got a little bit better, a little bit more comfortable over there. And also, it leads to the next question here, Jeff, from Lewis. Thoughts on Cyrilwick, McNeely, McDonald will do, how scouts now view McDonald after a month of hitting.
Yeah, I mean, I think McDonald comes back and, he's plugged in to that 4 or 5 hole again. And, the interesting part will be how many pitchers they get in the portal, what they're going to be able to do with him. But I think you still use him as a two-way guy. I mean, I think that's where his value is, and that's where his value was even coming out of high school. If he doesn't have Tommy John, then, I think it's a totally different path, and you probably saw him as a hitter a little bit earlier than what we saw. So, and then McNeely, I think McNeely's probably gone. The question is who's going to draft him and where, because he was never really a starter and never really lights out. But you also look at the numbers and the things that he can do from a metric standpoint, and it's pretty darn good. So, I mean, somebody will probably offer him $600,000 or $700,000, and if that's the case, I think you got to leave at that point.
I agree. And then Philip says, your thoughts on Kurland?
Yeah, a little interesting, but I mean, the guy's had 725 at bats at Florida, and I don't know if when you look at an NIL piece that the Gators want to spend a ton of money on a guy like Kurland, even though he was really good down the stretch. And, I still think lack of defense probably holds him back a little bit more. And obviously the injuries, I think it just really determines on the portal. Sometimes you got to put your name in just to see what's out there. And his little brother's also in the portal too. So I think it might be fun for them to play together somewhere if that's the way it works out, or, what those conversations were like. But listen, I mean, Kurland's not struggling with money. Like, I'm going to drive down to Tampa on Wednesday and go to the Rays game, and I'm going to see probably 15 billboards with Brad Culpepper and Kurland's dad on them. They're ugly mugs up on the billboards. So they're doing fine from a financial standpoint. It's just, whatever the best situation for Kurland is to go out there and, play every day. And but again, like, you've been in college for so long, and he committed to the Gators as an 8th grader. I mean, think about that. So that's all he's ever known for like the last 9 years is University of Florida. So sometimes you just want to change scenery or just start your pro career, and I don't blame him for it.
I don't either. I was a little bit surprised, though, initially. But then upon thinking about it, Jeff, to some of the points you're making here, fans love it when you get somebody. They question it when somebody leaves your program. But, in this day and age of being able to transfer as easily as you can, a school of thought would be, okay, look, I spent all this time here. I want to go one more place, maybe with my brother. I can see the country. I can play at another school, see what that's like. Maybe go someplace, where I can still compete for a national championship and win a job at second base as a veteran player. I don't. It's like free agency in Major League Baseball, right? If somebody gives you more money or a chance to go somewhere else, you go ahead and do that. I don't think it's a problem at all. Let's do our relief pitcher of the week, brought to you by Castaway Hot Sauce. Hot sauce with real flavor, not just heat and vinegar. Built by Gators for Gators. Castaway Hot Sauce available at select publish. Relief pitcher of the week.
To me, it's Sam Cozart, and he is the closer at Texas. And he's just a freshman, and he has just been lights out. I mean, the dude looks like he's 25 with his beard and everything he's got going on, but I mean, it was really good stuff, and it was dominant. And he went 6 up, 6 down the last 2 innings to clinch that trip to Omaha for Texas. And, they come back. Oregon's bullpen kind of fell apart there at the very end, and Texas's was strong. So for him to do that as a freshman in that situation, I think they've done a really good job of finding pieces. And we talk a lot about what the Gators try to do in the bullpen, and he wasn't the guy on the back end for most of the year. And, some guys have struggled. Some guys have obviously assumed different roles. Another guy, they moved into a starting spot. So they had to shuffle things around, and then to go in there and do that and have that type of impact, pretty darn good. And it's similar to what Volantis did last year, who's now their Friday night starter. So, they've got some really good arms out there in Texas, and he's the next one in line.
Top 4 teams. This will be interesting now. Brought to you by Coke Zero. The new and improved recipe tastes like real Coca-Cola with 0 sugar, 0 calories. Who's your top 4 now?
To me, it's Georgia or Texas. Whoever wins that side of the bracket is going to be the national champ. And it's crazy that they have to play each other in game 1 because, you've got Volantis, maybe the second best pitcher in the league behind Aiden King, and he was up there for SEC Pitcher of the Year with him against that Georgia offense. Can that Georgia offense now translate into Omaha? What's going to happen in that ballpark, and what are they going to be able to do? So I think those two. I think North Carolina is still pretty good. They were able to come back and beat USC, although they're kind of a drop fly ball away from maybe winning that series, and North Carolina's going home. But I think it also still does show you that the ACC wasn't very good throughout the entire year, but I'll still put them in there. And then, I guess the fourth one, I'll go West Virginia. I really like the way they're playing. I like their first guy who's going to throw against Troy. So anxious to see what's going to happen in that first round matchup in Omaha. So I guess with only the 8 left, I'm going to put those 4 at the top.
I think a storyline for the College World Series, Jeff, and I don't know, we've been there when the ballpark has really played big, where balls that were home runs at other places died there. If you're a Georgia fan, is there any concern with that?
No, I think you hope the wind blows out.
Oh, yeah, exactly, yeah.
But, yeah, they it'll be interesting. Because, the balls they hit at Foley Field are well over the scoreboard, and all these things are going on. So I just don't know how much it translates. Like, if you're hitting 450-foot homers there, 400 is still going to be good enough in Omaha, even though the gaps are bigger. So I still think some of the balls that they're hitting are probably going to get out. It just really depends on the wind, and then they'll have to obviously change their swings a little bit. But I do think if it is the struggle with the wind coming in and the ball's not conducive, then yeah, they're not going to win. They're built so much on offense, and they don't pitch it all that well either. So that would be a little bit of a concern.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because I agree 100%. If the wind is blowing in, I don't think they win this because they're so reliant on the long ball. I just don't see them singling people to death in Omaha. But, hey, you got to go out there and play. We'll take a break. We'll come back, and then more of the On Deck Show. Stay with us. Want to hear from you. Talk baseball, Major League Baseball, softball, whatever, here on WRUF.
Your home for the Tampa Bay Rays is WRUF.
Looking for a roof you can trust to weather any storm? Atlantic Roofing has been covering North Central Florida for over 20 years. We're a third-generation, locally owned roofing company. From Alachua to Marion, Bradford, Levy, Gilchrist, Columbia, and beyond, we've got your home, your business, and your back. Visit AtlanticRoofing.com or call today for your free estimate. Atlantic Roofing, where quality rises above.
Gator fans, this one's for you. Introducing Castaway Sauce Company, the hot sauce made by Gators for Gators. Their signature ball kicker hot sauce is inspired by Steve Spurrier's famous kick that beat Auburn in '66. If you love hot sauce with real flavor, not just heat and vinegar, Castaway delivers. Available at select public supermarkets, Castaway Sauce Company is founded by a lifelong Gator and proud UF alum. From mild to wild, they've got a flavor for every Gator tailgate. Grab your Castaway hot sauce today and taste the tradition. Learn more at CastawaySauceCompany.com.
It's first pitch time, Alachua County. The field is set, the crowd is buzzing, and baseball season is in full swing. From clutch hits and game-saving catches, baseball brings the passion, teamwork, and pride that unite our community. Whether you're on the field or cheering from the stands, Coke Florida, your local Coca-Cola bottler, is proud to support the moments that bring Alachua County together. Brought to you by Coke Florida, refreshing Florida fans. Here's to a winning season, on and off the field.
Looking for the perfect stay in Gainesville? Holiday Inn Gainesville University Center is just steps from the swamp, the closest hotel to UF. With 6 stylish floors of brand new everything, we've been completely renovated and fully remodeled for your comfort. Enjoy the best guest services in town, competitive rates, and a location you just can't beat. And don't forget about our rooftop pool. Whether it's game day, graduation, or a Gator getaway, make your stay extraordinary at Holiday Inn Gainesville University Center. Visit us online today for details and booking.
When the late great Charlie Daniels would need a place for jewelry he could trust, he turned to International Gold, Diamond, and Watch Exchange.
Hi, I'm Charlie Daniels, and I live in Tennessee, but when I get ready to do something serious about jewelry or a gift for my wife or somebody, I always get in touch with the folks at International Gold and Diamond Exchange here in Gainesville. There's a lot of reasons for that. One reason is they sell nothing but the best.
Find out what Charlie was talking about for yourself at International Gold, Diamond, and Watch Exchange at 3440 West University Avenue and online at igdwex.com.
Craving bold, authentic Cuban flavor? Head to Miapa Latin Cafe, where every bite brings the taste of Cuba straight to your table. From iconic Cuban sandwiches and fresh flaky empanadas to rich café con leche and perfectly sweet plantains. Every dish is made fresh daily for a true Latin experience. Proudly serving the community for over 23 years. And a proud supporter of the Florida Gators, Miapa now features 6 convenient locations ready to welcome you. Dine-in, drive-thru, to-go, or catering, Miapa is your choice for crowd-pleasing Cuban favorites. Miapa Latin Cafe, the best Cuban food north of Miami.
Every great team is built on a solid game plan, sharp execution, and total trust in the crew beside you. At Quality Plumbing, we bring that same championship mindset to every job we do. For over 40 years, we've been the starting lineup for homes and businesses across North Central Florida, delivering reliable service, expert craftsmanship, and big wins for our customers. Call us today or visit qualityplumbing.com. We're your first string team. License number CFC 043073.
You're listening to On Deck with Steve Russell and Jeff Cardozo, right here on WRUF.
Don't forget, International Diamond Center carries an exceptional assortment of designer engagement rings, wedding bands, luxury watches, and fine jewelry with locations across Florida, right here in Celebration Point in the heart of Gator Nation. Welcome back to the On Deck Show. Steve and Jeff with you here. Don't forget our phone and text line questions that you have brought to you by Titan MRI and Imaging. 3 locations to scan you better. Facebook Live questions brought to you by Meldon Law, the only official injury and accident law firm partner of the Florida Gators. Our YouTube questions, courtesy of Silverback Concrete. You stand on it, and they stand by it. Interesting, Jeff. We'll talk softball here in a minute, but the portal for that sport is also open. But first of all, we will do our Player of the Week, brought to you by Holiday Inn University Center. If you're looking for the perfect stay in Gainesville, Holiday Inn University Center just steps from the Swamp, the closest hotel to UF. Whether it's game day, graduation, or a Gator getaway, make your stay extraordinary at Holiday Inn Gainesville University Center. Player of the Week.
Well, Gator fans, don't get mad at me, but I'm going to pick a Georgia Bulldog. It's Michael O'Shaughnessy. He played a little bit against the Gators, but he wasn't a fixture in the lineup all the time. But when Steve's boy, his favorite player, remember Phelps, got thrown out of the regional, he got suspended for the first game of the Super Regional. So O'Shaughnessy has to play third base for no Phelps, and he hit a 2-run homer, and then he's the one that hit the 3-run homer in the 8th inning to put Georgia up 1. So, I mean, think about that. If Phelps doesn't get suspended for being a jackwagon, then O'Shaughnessy's never even in the ballgame probably playing. He has 5 ribbies, wins that first game over Mississippi State. I wonder how Georgia fans feel about that. Just kind of incredible little story. You never know what's going to work out or how things are going to go, but that's kind of strange that, you feel like you got a good player out of the lineup, but somebody else just stepped right in and probably was better than he would have been.
Yeah, and left on left, too, went yard. So that was good. Let's get a phone call here. Mark is here. Hi, Mark.
How you doing, Steve?
Good.
Before I get into my statement, I just want to tell you that of all these callers I've ever heard call on your show, D seems to be the most intelligent caller you got. If you ever have an opening for, you're looking for someone to fill in, ask D to fill in because he's really smart.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
Now, as far as my call, I called because while baseball was saved by the home run by Sosa and McGuire back in the day, I think a home run is killing the game now because all they're doing is paying guys to hit home runs, even if they don't. Oh man, I'm getting feedback on my phone here. But I was saying they don't pay guys to hit average anymore. Tony Gwynn wouldn't survive today. Rod Crew wouldn't survive today. They don't pay those guys. They need to pay guys to score runs. What happened to Moneyball? That used to be the way to success. Now it seems if you don't pop a 3-run homer, they don't want to pay you anything. So that's my comment about home run.
All right, Jeff, I'll let you start.
Yeah, Mark, I'm out in LA right now, and I went to the Dodger game on Saturday, and I looked at every single time on the scoreboard the batting averages came up. Mike Trout he's one of the best players in baseball. He's hitting 235. Out of the 18 guys in the starting lineup, there was one guy hitting over 300. And I'm thinking to myself, this is crazy. And I totally agree with you. From the college game, it's just stupid. Like there's a lot to dive into, and we could do this probably for 2 hours. But to me, the biggest issue right now is the way the zones are for the umpires. And they're so scared to call balls off the plate because they're now getting graded, where the strike zones are so tight. You have a borderline pitch that you don't get. And even, listen, I didn't tell Liam Peterson to give up 4 homers in that game, but he's just missing, and then he's forced now 3-1 to try to come back in with fastballs, and it's out over the plate or belt high. Now other guys can locate and be different, but I just think a lot of these guys now have such a tight strike zone that the pitchers are forced to have to come into the zone a lot more than they used to, because they're not getting the calls, because obviously you don't want to walk anybody, and then they're just swinging for the fences left and right. That's all people care about. So there's a lot that I think can be changed, but if you're going to be so blatant, maybe now, I mean, we had, Steve, you would know more than me what year that was, but remember, after Bob Gibson had the great year, they had to lower the mound and do all these things.
1968.
Yeah, so it's like maybe widen the plate a little bit now if you're gonna force people to be that accurate, just so there's like an extra inch or two like we used to see in the past. But yeah, I think that's one thing, Mark.
Mark, let me add to that. Michelle Smith was on with me right before the start of the College World Series. She's a pitcher and was a darn good pitcher. She says much of what Jeff is saying and much of what I have been saying. Call the flippin' strike zone. If it's supposed to be, armpits to knees, call that. Vertically call the strike zone, okay? And to Jeff's point about a ball or an inch or two outside, I agree with him 100%. You don't. Greg Maddux used to get calls. Glavine used to get calls a little off the corner. They don't want to do that now because they are graded, and I understand the problem. But there was 2 pitches in the College World Series I looked at, and they were to the naked eye a strike. And umpires are human; they're going to miss it, but they're just not calling the strike zone. And if I'm pitching, what am I pitching to? What am I pitching to? He's not going to call that. The strike zone shrinks, and now hitters go, okay, he's not going to call that, so I can look for a pitch in this zone. Bam! It's bad. It's bad.
Yep.
Okay?
That's one way. Yep. Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you, Mark. Appreciate the call. Let's do our softball review. Brought to you by International Gold and Diamond Exchange. Whether you're looking to buy, sell, trade, or repair luxury timepieces, the process begins with an honest evaluation and clear offer. International Gold and Diamond Luxury, done easy. Jeff, FSU's lost perhaps their best player to the portal already, and you wonder if Texas Tech's dangling dollars out there. That's just the nature of that's what's going to happen from now on.
Yeah, no, it's Torres. Texas Tech was obviously the villain when it was all said and done, but I mean, give them credit. They had to come back and win 2 just to get to the finals, that they were able to do it. And, again, it's a team where they brought in a whole lot of different players, and, they got to the point. It was fascinating, too, because, obviously what Mia Williams did against the Gators, they had another one that had transferred from Tennessee that did damage. They had another one that transferred from UCLA. She ended up getting the game-winning hit to beat UCLA. So it's weird how all that stuff works. I don't like it, to be honest with you, and it's not fair. But Texas Tech wasn't relevant a few years ago in the sport of softball. So you got somebody, the donor, who's a gazillionaire, whose wife happened to play softball at Texas Tech, and she says, "Hey, I want to make this program good." So of course you got to listen to your wife, or you're going to be divorced. So he says, "Okay, here's a bunch of money. Let's go do it." And it has taken them to now the promised land the last couple of years, but they still haven't won it. So I don't think it's changing. I don't think it's going to stop. It certainly is now. You look back at what the Gators had to do and face in Texas Tech in that super regional. I think that was just bad luck for Florida. I think Texas Tech was very underseeded, and to me that was stupid because you had all these great players, but they said, well, they didn't play anybody. That's because nobody wanted to play them. they didn't schedule him. So the Gators got stuck with him, or probably had a good enough team again to be in the College World Series. But it's going to come down to pitching too. Hopefully Tim Walton can get some, already a pretty good player on staff. That she was a National Pitcher of the Year that's already there from a season ago. So I think Tim will understand what he needs to do going out in the portal and fix it and be a contender once again next year.
Yep, and that's going to take money. I mean, that's just what the sport is now. And you can like it, not like it, and it's funny, Texas, Jeff, just won its second national title, right, in a row. Congratulations to them. And they've already had some pitchers go in the portal that did not pitch a whole lot for them. So, and again, what does that show? I mean, players want to go out and they want to play. I think they have a pitcher signed, a really good high school pitcher for next year, and I think their best pitcher does come back. But once again, kids want to play, and they're leaving a national championship program to go pitch someplace else. Kind of where things are now.
Yeah, and you don't blame them because you're getting money now for it. I think even back in the day, if you're at the University of Florida, let's just from a baseball standpoint, you're probably not going to leave, because if you're going to another program, it's going to be a lesser school, like say we'll make fun of Justin in there, like a Mercer or something, that which they should have been in a regional, by the way. So I truly believe that. But now you have the ability to, okay, I'm going to leave anyway. Now I can at least get paid for it, and you're more prone to do it. Whereas before, it's like, no, I'll stay here. I could be a part of a World Series winning team. I'm going to get a great education, and that's going to help me someday. But when you can now get money and still be able to go play, I'll do that in a heartbeat.
And it's time for the seventh inning stretch. Miapa Latin Cafe, proud to sponsor Gator Athletics at all Gator baseball games during the year. When the Gators win, you won a free cup of coffee from any Miapa location. So that was a fun thing to do. We'll take a break, come back, we'll wrap up On Deck for today. You're listening on WRUF.
Hey, have you ever talked to Ruse Agra over at State Farm?
Oh yeah, Ruse is awesome. Helped me get a ton of coverage for way less than I expected, and he serves all of North Florida. Super friendly too, actually takes time to explain everything.
Really? I thought State Farm would be pricey.
Nope, surprisingly great rates. You get that neighborly service you don't find everywhere. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
I might give Ruse at State Farm a call.
You should. Call 352-240-1779 for a free quote. You'll be glad you did.
Individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements.
The jewelry store with the most likes, the most positive reviews, the most raving fans is International Diamond Center.
IDC is definitely a place that I will come to as long as I live here. This will be my go-to place always.
Literally the best jewelry store in town. You'll make friends for life coming in here. I felt like family from the beginning. The value was extraordinary.
I've got a beautiful diamond on my finger, and I'm very proud of it.
International Diamond Center.
I'm very happy to show it off.
At Celebration Point and online at shopidc.com.
It's never fun being injured, and with summer on the way, the last thing you want is lingering pain holding you back. Good news, you don't have to deal with long waits or high costs at Titan MRI and Imaging. At Titan MRI and Imaging, you're not just another patient. You're treated with care in a comfortable, personal setting. With 2 locations in Gainesville and 1 in Lake City, being pain-free is a short drive away, and they accept insurance. So don't sit out this summer. Get the scan you need and get back to enjoying it. Visit TitanMRI.com to learn more.
Hi, I'm Kerry Meldon. At Meldon Law, we prepare every case as if it's going to trial. And part of that preparation involves real people from our community giving honest feedback. Join one of our jury research focus groups. You'll review real case scenarios, share your perspective, and enjoy dinner and dessert on us. We'll thank you and provide you $125 for your time. It's engaging, meaningful, and your voice truly matters. Visit meldonlaw.com to sign up today.
Concrete is tough, long-lasting, durable. And when it's done right, it's the foundation of everything that stands strong. At Silverback Concrete, we don't just pour concrete, we build trust one slab at a time. We're a family-led team of heavy concrete specialists who sweat every detail, from footers to elevated decks. We respect your budget, we build to last, and we care about the people on the job today and those who will walk these floors tomorrow. You stand on it, we stand by it. Silverback Concrete, we've got your back. Visit silverbackconcrete.co to get started.
It's game day. Lights on, fans ready, everything running like it should. Now imagine your home performing at that same level. No flickering lights, no tripping breakers, no last-minute surprises. With B&D Electric, your home's electrical system is always game day ready. From repairs and lighting to panel upgrades and troubleshooting, they deliver reliable service you can count on every time. Don't sit on the sidelines. Schedule your service today at www.bdelectric.com. That's bdelectric.com.
Looking for a roof you can trust to weather any storm? Atlantic Roofing has been covering North Central Florida for over 20 years. We're a third-generation, locally owned roofing company. From Alachua to Marion, Bradford, Levy, Gilchrist, Columbia, and beyond, we've got your home, your business, and your back. Visit AtlanticRoofing.com or call today for your free estimate. Atlantic Roofing, where quality rises above.
From the UF Weather Center, here is your WRUF weather update.
Expect conditions overnight to be rather muggy. I'm expecting lows only dipping down into the mid-70s. Tomorrow we'll see a mixture of sun and clouds with highs in the lower 90s. About 10% of us could see some rainfall during the early evening. Scattered showers and thunderstorms will increase by the later half of the week as tropical moisture moves in from the south. From the WUFT Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Andrew Wolfeck.
On Deck continues right here on WRUF, your home for Gator sports.
International Diamond Center, the only official jeweler of the Florida Gator. Shop exclusive, officially licensed Gator jewelry, rings and bracelets to watches and Hall of Fame pieces featuring Jenny's Gems with Coach Jenny Rowland. Visit the International Diamond Center in Celebration Point or online and show your Gator pride in style. Back to wrap up on deck for today. Let's do our game of the week, brought to you by Quality Plumbing. Quality Plumbers, Gainesville's trusted for over 40 years. Quality Plumbing, their name says it all. Game of the week, Jeff. Okay, we can't hear you for some reason.
It would help if I unmute
go.
myself. Well, I guess since I'm out here in LA, maybe I'll brag on the game that I'm going to get to go to tonight. I'm going to go see Brady Singer. They're in town. Okay. The Reds are to see the Padres. I've never been to Petco, so going to make the hour and a half drive down there to go see him. So I've been spoiled with baseball. I get the Dodgers Angels the other night, and now out here to go see the Padres and Brady Singer. So that should be a lot of fun, and it's cool to again see. There was so much negativity on Sully, Steve. So it was an opportunity to, again, hype up what this coaching staff has done. And Brady's one of 43 guys that Sully has put into the big leagues, and no other program has done that since Kevin O'Sullivan has been there. So you have that. It's really hard to win. And then I'm going to put this emphasis. Everybody listening right now, listen to this stat for what it is and what we think of other programs across the country. Obviously, Florida now has the longest active regional streak at 18 years in a row. But with now all the teams that are going to Omaha, and we're going to throw in, it's either, the game still be decided, Oklahoma or Kansas hasn't been to Omaha. So if you look at 2024, 2025, and now 2026, that would be 8, 16, 24 teams that are qualifying for the College World Series. 23 of those will be different teams. The only one that has gone to 2 in the last 3 years is North Carolina. So, think about that. It's really, really hard to get there. And, obviously it's a disappointment, but UCLA's got to be disappointed. I'm out here in LA, and, that's just the way that it is. And then, you've got to be disappointed if you're some of these other teams that had great seasons. Georgia Tech, great all year. Everybody's hyping them up, and they don't make it. So it's really hard to do it. I know the expectation is Sully wants to get there and should be there, and it sucks that Florida's not there. But, I think when it's all said and done, there's a lot of big games. There's a lot of big-time matchups, but baseball is just that sport where the best team doesn't always win.
Let's do our best and worst of the week, brought to you by Ruse Ogra State Farm Insurance. State Farm agent Ruse Ogra, your go-to agent in Gainesville, North Central Florida, for the service you deserve at the price you want. Best and worst.
Well, I think, best of the week is probably West Virginia and what they've been able to do. It's kind of cool to see now the tradition at the end of the game where the entire stadium is sitting there and singing and arm in arm and having that. It's just, West Virginia is not a baseball town. Morgantown is almost irrelevant when it comes to that sport. And they had a coaching change a few years ago. And, you bring in a guy that was an assistant. He's just kind of carried on the success. And and made it even more. So I think it's kind of fun to have West Virginia in Omaha. So to me, that would be the best.
Yeah, you could have a lot of people singing "Take Me Home, Country Roads" in Omaha if things go right. Let's do next game preview brought to you by Atlantic Roofing. Personal and commercial roofing expects quality, durability, excellence, and integrity. With over 50 years of experience, Atlantic Roofing brings the trusted expertise to your project. Well, not just next game, Jeff, but what are you looking for here in terms of, now again, Oklahoma's up 8-1 in the fifth now against Kansas. You would think they would go on to win that. So let's assume for the moment Oklahoma's in. Your thoughts on what we could expect here in Omaha?
Yeah, I think to me it's whoever comes out of the Georgia-Texas game. They're two of the best teams, and it's the SEC, and they've got power arms, power bats. I think it'll be tough for somebody else to beat them. But maybe a team like Troy plays a small ball, gets good enough pitching, and something like that happens. It's rare that something like happens on a big stage like that. Normally you get some of those Cinderellas to make it. It's hard to navigate through a couple of weeks of doing that. So I would expect Georgia, Texas, and whoever wins that first game to be the winners.
Speaking of Georgia, obviously, Jeff, they hit a ton of home runs. They have a great offense, but they didn't pitch well, although Mississippi State can rake as well. If you're a Georgia fan, are you concerned about your pitching?
Probably a little bit, but you can't really be too concerned when it seems like every game they're down 6-0 or 7-0 or 10-2, and they come back and win. It's just their offense just destroys you. So you're never really out of it from that standpoint. And this is a place. We talked about Aoki a couple of weeks ago and what his value is out of that Georgia bullpen. He can now throw a couple of times if need be, and with the season on the line and his career on the line, then they're going to throw him as much as possible. So you've got a couple of nice arms. Their closer's decent enough too to get some outs. They just got to get better starting pitching, and that's going to be the key to them.
The team that gets no love is Texas. Everybody talks Georgia. I think Texas is a really dangerous team here. David says Maddox and Glavine lived on the edges. How do you think ABS would affect them?
They wouldn't be Hall of Famers, which is like nuts to think about, or at least they have a lot less wins. But Maddox was still Maddox. And I almost, Steve, I wish we could go back to that. I got to go to the Dodger game the other day, and Yamamoto pitched. And he only gave up 2 hits the entire game, and I was just fascinated by the amount of ground balls that he was getting. I think he only struck out 4 guys, but there was a splitty, there was a sinker, there was like so much movement on pitches that kept big league hitters off balance. And I almost want Sully to go find guys like that. There was a guy throwing for USC yesterday, a little funk in his delivery, kind of from the side, but everything sunk down in the zone. And he was good at getting people out. And then all of a sudden they take him out of the game and the next guy gets hit because the fastball was a lot flatter. So I think there's a need for those types of guys. But the zone's going to be the way it is until it changes. I think it needs to change and affect things, but I don't know. It's a fascinating study when it comes to pitching because I don't like it either. Heck, remember when we were there in 98 in Omaha, we were the 1 seed, the Gators were, and we scored double-digit runs in both games and lost both of them.
Right.
And the final of the College World Series that year was 21-14. So, and you're telling me that's the 2 best teams in college to a 21-14 game? Something needs to change, I think, just in the sport because it's really, really tough on pitchers again like it was back there in the mid-90s.
Jeff, we got 2 minutes. Paul says, I know Jeff's a Braves fan. Steve, I know you're a Mets fan. Braves are doing great. The Mets are sucking. Do you think it's going to continue the rest of the year? Yes, I do. I think my Mets will continue to stink. I think the Braves will continue to do well. What say you?
Yeah, I agree. The Braves have a healthy lineup. Everybody's kind of clicking. They made some good moves in the offseason, and all their best arms still aren't back a part of this team. So I think when it's all said and done, the Braves will be really, really good. But it's going to be tough. You look at the stupid Dodger lineup and, the way that was. They've got all-stars up and down the entire thing. We'll see what happens at the end, who gets hot at the right time.
Yeah, and I don't know, Jeff. I think we're going to – I mean, do you agree we're going to have a lockout? I mean, that's almost inevitable, isn't it?
I would be shocked if there wasn't. Luckily, they're talking early enough now to try to make it happen. But the players are used to getting all these luxuries, and I think it has to even out probably from both sides to pretty big to maybe come up with an agreement.
All right. Well, hey, enjoy Cali, and you already got to see the Dodgers. You're going to see the Padres now. I've been to Dodger Stadium, but not to see San Diego, so that'll be a lot of fun. Enjoy that, and we'll see you next week. Safe journey to you.
Yep, sounds good. Bye, everybody.
All right, Jeff, see you. Yep, so Jeff he's out in Cali joining us here. Don't forget our last On Deck of the year will be next Monday. Again, it'll be at the normal time of 1 o'clock, so make sure that you join us for that. Jeff should be back in studio by then, but he's having a good time out there, and we'll enjoy watching a few MLB games. Thanks to Tyler for producing not only the On Deck, but also Sports Scene today. We thank you for being part of those things as well. Don't forget, Kevin and the Sports Lab gang are next. Do not move your radio dial. I'll see you tomorrow at noon for more Sports Scene. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. You're listening to WRUF. See you later.
Your home for Gators softball is 98.1 FM, 850 AM, and anywhere in the world on the WRUF mobile app.
If there's anybody that knows what teamwork and great leadership is all about, it's the head ball coach himself, Steve Spurrier.